Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another episode of Liberal White Dudes. I am Andrew.
I'm Jared.
I'm AJ.
And we are Liberal White Dudes.
At last check.
Yeah, nothing much to talk about today. It's been kind of a slow news week. I thought there might be something new between last episode and this one, as I closed last episode saying, we're going to talk about mega churches today if nothing crazy happens between then and now.
Yeah.
We are not going to talk about mega churches today.
We certainly aren't.
No.
I'm guessing that a lot of you, probably at least 75% of our live viewers, were watching what was happening at the Capitol yesterday. A live insurrection, traitors.
Yeah.
Attempting to overthrow the, election results via force and breaking into buildings.
Right. And I like to say, first of all, a weak-ass insurrection with no clear objective and no leader other than Trump, essentially, and no, directive or anything. I mean, it was an insurrection, but, when you hear that word, at least for me, historically, it sounds intimidating. When I look at these a-holes, I just see a bunch of nonsense and police not doing crap about letting them waltz into the Capitol and wreak havoc just because they're pissed because their candidate lost.
Yeah, directly before this show, the breaking news was that the sergeant at arms who's in charge of the security of that building has resigned or been let go or been replaced or whatever. Coming out of Mitch McConnell. Yeah, Mitch McConnell's office. It's like,
you think?
You did a pretty poor job. Now, granted, they didn't have enough folks. They didn't plan for this like it was, 12 BLM rioters.
Rioters.
Protesters. Right. Whatever the nomenclature they need to actually prepare for folks is.
Yeah, they didn't treat it nearly as severely as they did disabled folks protesting peacefully at the Capitol for healthcare. Those insurrectionists, they got on that shit.
Yeah.
These ones, I feel like I've seen tighter security at TJ Maxx. So
yes,
yeah.
I don't know.
They probably stopped more people. Probably stopped more people at the the metal detector things at the end of the Kmart. Those.
I've seen people protect stuff better with a can of Twisted Tea than anybody protected the Capitol yesterday.
Yeah. We've all seen that, yes.
I mean, there were times where clearly, people who were supposed to be protecting it were helping. There were times where people who were protecting it were not protecting it with the force that they should have been. There were times when people who were protecting it were running from the people who were inside the building. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, put the
and
fear.
Disgraceful.
Yeah, and I also heard a take, that one woman's ninth grade daughter came home and was like, "Oh, the people at the Capitol building had to hide under their desks while there was fear of gunfire inside of their building." Like that's been 3 times since I've been at school, so.
Yeah.
Jeez
Louise.
I mean, that's the thing that happens in our country.
And maybe that builds some empathy. I know that people have a real hard time with empathy if it doesn't happen to them for whatever reason. Empathy is something that can't be taught to some people. They don't feel it unless it is them that it's happening to. So
that's actually a good point. It'd be nice if some of those GOP lawmakers came out the other side of this thinking, hey, someone's showing up to your building with a gun.
That
some
sucks.
Scary ass shit.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do all we can to not let that happen to our children on the reg.
I hate saying it yet again on this program, but hey, think of the children. If that's the only goddamn way you can see,
think of the children.
Have any sort of empathy for any particular issue. Think of the children. There was a Confederate flag being waved inside of our Capitol building yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, there was. It's just one of those things too, where it's like, this is the first time since the War of 1812 that the Capitol building has been broken into, the first time in 200 years. And last time, it was people that were trying to destroy American democracy, just like it was
This time too. Yeah.
This time too.
Yeah.
But this time, those people don't see it that way. The time before, at least those people were honest with themselves about what they were doing. They were British trying to destroy America. In this context, these people think they're Americans that are like somehow empowering America.
Again, they've
helping
co-opted
America.
the word patriot as though that puts
Yeah.
a shield on them from being traitors. Make no mistake, that's who those people were yesterday. They
Right.
were traitors. They were not called that by Lindsey Graham today. I mean, he did give a speech about, a Southern gentleman's speech about how he suddenly doesn't stand with all of these people that he's been backing for 4 years.
The people he's been drumming up and the people that he's been
Yeah.
basically cheering on from the wings. Yeah.
Ted Cruz wrote a statement where he was like, condemning the violence. And it's like, no, you guys don't get to get off stage right now.
Right.
You stand back up there. I see you trying to shuffle off stage and be like, this
Right.
isn't really what we've been doing. No, yeah, it is. This is what you've been doing. These are
This is
your
you, bro.
people. Stand up there, arm in arm with them still. You've linked arms with them from the beginning. You stand up there still and you take this. This is on you.
Agreed. Absolutely. I take it further. I'm like every person who voted for Trump, first time or this time, bears a small bit of responsibility for this.
Yeah, more so the
ultimately,
second
but,
time for me, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in the end, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But to these politicians that are immediately trying to jump ship, and that's killing me too. I've seen a couple things where some people are like, oh, wow, that's really great to see finally. It's like, no.
It's
Too
not.
little too late, first of all. And some of these staffers and, cabinet members that are just resigning, it's like, or you could stay, do your job, invoke the 25th Amendment, and do one thing right before you leave.
Yeah.
Especially since like this is it's too, the reason it's too late, right, is because there was a coup attempt. That's
Right.
why.
Yeah.
It would be great if this happened before, but if it took people trying to actively subvert democracy by breaking into a government building during a proceeding, then what? This is great that they're saying that this is bad. It's not, because they're the ones who cheered this on. They're the ones who started this and the ones who made these people feel this way about it, even though it's not true. That's the whole thing, is that it was about, they're like, oh, it's a faulty election, and they've been touting that stuff forever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Either
Exactly,
through
that's-
silence or direct words.
Exactly.
You are a part of this. Exactly this. You have not come out and said these QAnon conspiracies that you're hearing online are not true.
Right.
You have not come out and said, I do not stand with people who are anti-American.
Yeah, and if there's any takeaway in terms of if you're on the fence still for some reason about Trump's behavior, and us saying, hey, this guy sucks isn't enough, let's just talk about the difference between
That should be enough.
the way that
honestly.
it should be, but the difference between the way he treated the Black Lives Matter movement and the way that he's treated people that are on the other side, because his whole messaging was that they were looters and rioters and anarchists, and that was his whole thing for so long. But the white supremacists in Charlottesville, those great people on both sides. There was problems on both sides. There were great people on both sides.
said-
QAnon supporters, pedophile tout conspiracy theorists, those people are probably fine too. It's just, it's not okay.
One of the biggest holy crap moments for me yesterday, and I believe I some version of that I may have texted to both of you fine gentlemen, was when he had tweets deleted.
Yep.
The president of the United States, this is his voice to the people, basically, because he doesn't use his press secretary. He doesn't, none of the
conferences like he
conventions
should.
of previous decorum or, being a president worked for this guy. So he used Twitter, that application, as his voice to the people. So it's been, there's been various rules put in place where he's not allowed to block people because of the laws surrounding being able to see the words of the President of the United States when it's being used as an official communications channel, right? There's been all kinds of various things that have kind of moved fairly quickly due to this being a just complete departure from the way
unprecedented
the
way of
government
communication,
works, right? They deleted tweets that he posted yesterday because he was inciting violence.
Yeah.
He
because he
The
was
statement in his video, before they deleted it was, "We love you. You're very special." That was his last final, like, to the people that were rushing the Capitol. And now you look at his very prepared, definitely drafted by his lawyers, or possibly he's a double statement today.
It looked
Obviously,
green
the
screened.
exact
I mean, it looked
opposite.
almost deep fake to me, and I am not a conspiracy theorist. But the,
Yeah.
the fact that he clearly didn't go off script in the most recent
Right.
scripted, thing. He is being urged, I'm sure, by lots of folks to, hey, if you want the last 2 weeks, if you don't want to be removed via the
office.
25th Amendment, if you don't want to be branded a traitor immediately, and it may take, history to do that, apparently.
Right.
I mean, he will be eventually. For me, that's
Right.
not.
Yeah,
It's just it's a matter of on what time frame and what
what
scale
the time frame for that is.
we
I'm
do
still
it. For me, it
concerned.
should have been today, but
I'm still concerned
he
too
already is.
because
Yeah.
in a way, the way that we do history in this country is very concerning on its own. And this sort of thing is one of the things that I'm really concerned, based on the stuff that I've had to learn outside of school about American history. What like what stops them from not, what stops them from not retelling this as a horrendous thing that happened? It could this
he
story
already
could easily be
started
told the wrong way.
his on script, deep fake double take,
Donald Trump.
most recent thing. He lied just to start it out. Like one of the
Saying
very
that
first
he
things
deployed.
he said, I was like,
Yeah.
I deployed the National Guard.
I
And it's
deployed
like,
the National Guard
no, you
right
didn't.
away.
You stood in the way of the National Guard being deployed.
You certainly did.
And everyone who remembers in the moment, I remember losing my damn mind because it's like, where are the cops? Where is the law and order? Why are there people walking next to things, in just invaluable things as an American? Irreplaceable artifacts of our democracy. You have a guy half naked with horns on sitting where the vice president's supposed to sit in the Senate. What the hell is going on right now with our country, And the fact that he was not even on the list of folks who helped to deploy the National Guard. They had to go around him. And I feel like at that point, if you have to go around the president to deploy the National Guard because your capital is under attack, that's when you
invoke the 25th Amendment.
invoke the 25th Amendment. You need
If not then
immediately.
then when?
You need the power of the presidency to even deploy the National Guard right then. That's what you need. And in order to have that, you should get it through the means that are described in the Constitution.
Right.
Beside myself.
When a president is unfit to fulfill their duties of office, which at that moment, like he has proven in the past, he was and is, he should be removed.
Yeah, and ultimately didn't do it.
And this thing, this breaking point, I think it has the potential to, in some ways, be the end of the Republican leadership at all, like ever.
Hashtag roadmap.
Yeah, we hope, right? Because they're.
Did you hear that deep state stuff Senator Lindsey Graham was saying today?
Exactly.
He's part of the
cabal
cabal against America.
Yeah, he's part of the triple parentheses cabal or whatever. If you guys aren't familiar, that's a thing that Nazis use on the internet, the triple parentheses.
Well, getting back to what you said, Jared, earlier about, and you and Andrew too, about Senator Cruz and Lindsey Graham trying to distance themselves at this point. I mean, I heard it put this way earlier, and I was like, I think it's the best way to describe it. They overplayed their hand. That is the bottom line. Because I think, don't get me wrong, Senator Cruz, I believe, is a traitor as well, and I believe he is part of the cause of this. But I do honestly believe that I do not think he thought what happened would happen.
Yeah, no.
Because when it did, because of the immediate, backpedal and the distancing themselves of what they've done. Like you said, Andrew, it's like, no, you don't get to do that. You have to stand up there with them because you are part of this. Essentially, like I said, they overplayed their hand. They thought they could play to Trump's desires and whims and stay in Trumpville, and still remain
GOP at the same time.
Yeah, part of the GOP, and now it's like, no, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They ultimately thought that these folks, to borrow an Obama term that I very much enjoy, who were there would be reasonable people still. Would still be good people, because look at them, they're white. They'll still keep their decorum. They'll still, obey the law. They'll still do all of the things that they say that they stand for. These aren't, crazy people doing crazy things because they believe people are lizard people.
Yeah, I think it might speak in a lot of ways to the systemic racism, because
absolutely
you can go back and look at images, photos, footage of how they prepare for a peaceful Black Lives Matter protest.
Yeah.
With the tanks and the National Guard.
Rows of National Guard members standing on the steps of the Capitol building.
They didn't have that leading up to this. They just had some police out there.
And they had a couple of guys inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I've sort of come away with from that is that I think part of that is also, too, because they know, and we all know, that Black people have a right to be angry. These people who showed up yesterday don't. They don't have a leg to stand on as far as a right to be angry. They have been told a bunch of lies, and Cruz and Graham and them, they know that. They believe them, but they're like, these are the same stupid constituents who show up in South Carolina and in Texas to vote for me. So yes, I have been saying to you, this is fine that you believe this. It won't make you as angry as, people who have a real reason to be angry.
Right.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing to think too, because you've been drumming these people up for months, years. You've been telling these people that their country is being stolen from them by pedophile lizard people. Yeah. Like, what did you expect, morons? This is what happens.
One of the things
and then when you're told by the president to just keep fighting, never stop fighting, I will never concede, we will never concede.
Go to the Capitol right now. That was all, I'll be there with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like that's not all well on tape.
No. Yeah. Well documented.
Yeah. There's not any issue of perspective here or, seeing edited footage. We all watched it happen live. One of the things we retweeted yesterday was, wow, this sure escalated slowly over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there should be no, was I still surprised? Yeah, I was, for some reason. I was still surprised.
Yeah, I was too.
There was a quote by Colbert who was like, this is one of the most disappointing, most disturbing, least surprising things that has happened to our country in the past 4 years. Because he's like, we should have seen this coming. Yeah. This is what this has been ramping to this whole time.
Yeah.
All arrows point to this having happened, right?
And can we at least acknowledge a little bit of the immediate? We're talking about, what's his name? Matt Gaetz or whatever, on the floor, immediately saying there are reports that these people, these terrorists that infiltrated the Capitol were Antifa. It was
oh my
immediately.
God.
Yeah.
The very first thing some of these people were saying was, it was actually not Trump supporters. It was Antifa dressed as Trump supporters. Real Trump supporters wouldn't do this. And then within minutes, people were like, no. Like, these people are easy to recognize. They all have social media profiles. They're all out there spouting garbage all day long. Let's identify them. And then
dox them all, which, absolutely you should. With every terrorist. If you are against doxing terrorists, then we need to talk to the NSA about the various programs that currently run in the United States post 9/11.
Yeah, the NSA has been doxing terrorists and non-terrorists for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean,
but just the blatant, like, is that really your move? That's all you got?
Yeah, that's the only thing. This can't be us, because they know there is an extremely large part of the GOP which are reasonable, middle-of-the-road conservative folks.
The Lincoln Project would be
to point out. Yeah, they're either fiscal conservatives or they just love Jesus so much that they're blind to anything else related to Republicans. There's a lot of that's a huge constituency, and I, will
Hashtag my
enjoy
parents.
seeing them come in second for the foreseeable future in elections.
Yep.
As the Patriot Party comes in third, and of course
And
Democrats.
the GOP comes in second, and the Democrats win
Yeah.
because that's what we gotta hope for.
Hashtag
There's
roadmap.
that.
Yeah.
Continue to tell your parlor relatives that the Patriot Party is where they belong, because you don't
Please do.
want any longer racist insurrectionists in the GOP.
Yeah.
Stand up for your party. Say, we believe in fiscal conservatism. We believe in God. We believe in country. And we don't believe in you traitors who just assaulted the Capitol. Go ahead, enter the Patriot, the Patriot Party. Take with you your QAnon Congress people. Take with you
your racism and your
racism,
take all
and
that with you.
Yes, absolutely. And form your own party and put Trump at the head of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Take him with
Knock
you too.
yourself out.
Obviously, he is all about all of that. And then run your own candidate every election.
Yes.
While the Republicans
be the Green
run,
be better than the Green Party.
Yep.
We believe
take
that
on
you will be,
libertarians.
unfortunately.
Hey, take libertarians under your wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can have them too.
Pick up those libertarians. They're pretending to be in the middle somewhere.
Some of those
Run that up.
Tea Party leftovers, they'll probably
absolutely.
Tea Partiers.
and run your own candidate while the Republicans run their own candidate, and the Democrats continue to run their own candidate.
Yeah,
right.
While we continue to run old white guys.
Yeah. Hashtag roadmap.
Hashtag roadmap.
Sadly, that appears to still be our roadmap as well. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Senator from Missouri, Josh Hawley, who I believe was one of the people who stood up with Ted Cruz against, certifying the vote. He also gave a big old fist pump to the folks before they broke into the Capitol.
Yep.
People were, upset with him for being on the side of sedition yesterday.
Yeah,
and
naturally.
He has just lost his book deal with Simon & Schuster.
It was beautiful.
Boom, right in the kisser.
I replied right at him with it after it happened, and I was just like, I don't want to repeat it on this show, but but basically I was just like, you are effed, and you know it.
Yeah.
You have to know it at this point. Like,
Clap your hands,
shit
man.
the bed. Like, you're done.
You're on the
You
wrong
overplayed
side
your
of
hand,
history
bro.
right here.
Like,
You're just on the wrong
my
side of
God.
history. And yeah, it shouldn't be hard for those people when they see, they had their chance, I guess, in December when Mitch McConnell left the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about something that, like, people that I hate but still make respectable decisions. Mitch McConnell, like that right there. I mean, leaving Trump's nonsense, at least it started the separation, and that part of it is really important. We need to get the Republicans and the Patriots separated. Just get those two. Just do a little bit of this, a little triaging, a little bit of space, compartmentalizing, and then we'll move on with our lives, because I think we'll all be better off for it.
I'm curious to see how that does play out over the next couple of years, certainly leading up to 2022, because we actually have some pretty
the congressional
important elections 2022. Yeah. Senator-elect Warnock is going to be up for re-election in just 2 years. Less than 2 years. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it evolves.
Yeah.
In the next 18 months.
Patriot Party should definitely run their own person against Marco Rubio. In Florida, and we the Democrats will run someone as well.
Run the Democrat guy. Yeah, just do
we'll
the same
just
thing in Georgia.
See how that goes.
The same thing in
three-way vote.
Yeah. Do it in every state.
Every state, every election. That's always worked before, right? That is what I think they should do.
Because your party, your side putting up two different candidates works every time, right? That's with that. You have twice the chance to win. You got two out of three. That's 66%.
From all of my research, that plays out. I'm not a political scientist. And there should be a list at some point of the things I say I'm not on this show. I'm not a doctor.
Right. None of us are.
Not a political scientist. But I will tell you, I feel like that's a good path forward for the Patriot Party.
Yeah. Good stuff right there. Do it, guys.
I do feel like we should mention 5 people did die yesterday.
5, really? I hadn't heard that number.
Yep. Most recent person to pass away was a DC Metro policeman. It is weird how there has been no outpouring about that from our conservative friends who they're really conflicted here.
Yeah, because where's the back to blue, man?
Yep, you can see the conflict when the people that they support are fighting the people they support. They're having real trouble figuring out how to support this, and here's the easy one. Don't. Or maybe continue to support the people who are trying to stop the people who are breaking the law.
Yeah. Right. You know what? Yeah.
Maybe still continue to be the party of law and order that you claim to be, which you're clearly not.
Evidently. Yeah. The thing is that I think people are just so out of touch with what words mean. You know, they just don't understand what labels mean what, especially when it comes to government, because they've been so muddied by the current administration and the people that follow it. I had a conversation recently with somebody who I won't name for the sake of anonymity, but he and I got into a bit of an argument about politics, and he said, well, I see it as me standing up for my country and fighting against socialism/communism. I was like,
did a whole show about
there is just so much wrong in that statement. And just for reference, we have an episode about socialism, communism, capitalism. Go ahead and check that out because of that. But still,
all that ran through my head was someone being like, I'm standing up against hockey players, polar bears, and sushi chefs. It's like they're so unrelated.
Yeah, exactly. I'm standing up against socialism, and it was funny because it wasn't like you said socialism and communism. Because socialism and communism, I can see that, right? You can say I'm standing up against socialism and communism. Okay, still a lot wrong there, but better than socialism/communism. Yeah. Because then you're not even drawing a distinction. You're not even clear on what the difference is. You just know they're different words, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I stand up to pole bears/turkey basters.
Yes. Yeah, both those things. They're ruining this country.
I think multiple polar bear turkey baster videos exist. Not on any sites that I frequent. But I think they exist.
Okay, fair enough.
Which rule is that? And there's a rule about that?
Rule 34.
Yeah. There you go.
Rule 34. You can think it. There's porn of it. That's the...
All right. Well,
yeah.
I stand corrected. Some of those things can be linked.
Unfortunately.
Please don't start sending us those videos, by the way.
Yeah,
that wasn't a weird interest fetish request.
It was an invitation.
That was just me saying that I'm sure it exists.
Our DMs just flooded with...
to circle back real quickly to the dead people, which of course is always terrible. I mean, you know, they've taken their last breath, they thought their last thought, that is the, you know, four of them, not how they saw the day going. For one of them, sort of the kind of, you know, suspected consequences of her actions as she was told to stop or they will shoot, and was pushing through a barricaded door inside of the U.S. Capitol. I think it is a tragedy that she was shot. I you know, the loss of human life in just the general sense, but the fact that she was the only one that was shot, the amount of lawlessness that we saw yesterday, you know, and people trying to excuse it like they were, you know, walking through the Capitol in an orderly fashion or whatever. If they were doing that in your house, and let's say they were not white, as an example, walking in an orderly fashion through your house. You know, we've seen white people on their lawn where there's just a protest passing in the street, pointing guns at their fellow citizens because they disagree with the message that they're sending.
Which is just not the way to do things.
Which, by the way, that message was, please stop murdering us in the street.
Yeah, as you stand there.
Just FYI, so we're clear about what the people in the street were saying was...
The big message they're against.
The big message...
People on their lawns with guns against,
is the government murdering them for no reason.
Yeah,
and
here's
there was lots of reason to murder people yesterday.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that we're not saying this like, you know, treat them the same. Well, we are saying treat them the same, but we're saying that don't treat. It's not that we don't want people to be treated like they have been treated at the BLM protests.
No.
We don't want that.
No.
That's bad. Right. But the fact that we see that cops and National Guard have the capacity to not.
Right.
Yeah.
What's going on? What else is there? Because it means that that's not the issue. It means that it's not that they can't, because they can. So what else is there?
Yeah. You know, I'm not going to say that we also have an episode on hypocrisy, and you should watch that as well. But
We
we
do.
also have
But we do.
yeah,
We
the
do
blatant
actually, yes.
hypocrisy
But I
was on display. White supremacy, systematic racism, white privilege, all of that, just blatantly on display. Like we didn't have
Yeah.
enough to be angry about yesterday.
No kidding.
A
You
lot
know,
of a lot of people came out and on Twitter and other places and were saying like, let's, and I really appreciate that President-elect Joe Biden tweeted this as well. And it was very clearly, let's not kid ourselves. If these protesters were black, this would be a very different outcome. And we all know it. We all know it.
yeah,
Like
it's not up for
I have
debate.
yeah, when it comes with the Air Force vet that was shot yesterday, that is a tragedy. But on the other side, first F around and find out, when
Yeah,
it
all
comes to
of the
storming the Capitol building.
You
So, her last social media post prior to her going and doing that was nothing will stop us. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, a bullet can.
Absolutely
Yeah.
will.
a very
find out,
common
like-
refrain from the horrible, hateful folks online to unarmed black people being shot is play stupid games, get stupid prizes. And I'm not going to say that in this case.
No.
Yeah,
Or did
Because-
I just?
well,
But I will say this as well.
I'll say that.
Yeah, part of
Yeah.
the tragedy of this is, she served 14 years for her country. So we need to look ourselves in the mirror as a country and say, how is it that this person got this far? How is it this person ended up in that group of folks? I mean, she's
This
from
person was willing
California.
to die. This person was willing to die for their country and did that work for a decade, and then actively tried to overthrow the government.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
How
very,
did we get
Where
there?
are we?
the
By
very nation
what
they serve.
process did we create that?
Yeah.
Especially like the thing is too is that we have, the people that were on the right before, and they drag out the people's past as like some sort of token, as some sort of thing, like, oh, you guys are using this guy as a, like, oh, George Floyd, well, he did this. Oh,
Oh yes, like
Jacob
like
Blake,
their
well, he did
past
this.
crimes are some justification. For
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the
murder
fact
and
George
that they
rape.
Floyd shouldn't
murdered
have
in the
passed
street.
a fake 20.
Yeah.
It's like that's a
What?
crime punishable
Irrelevant to
by
me.
death without trial. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah, it's
And the
still
thing
not.
is that it's
Justified.
if that's
Yeah.
what we're doing with those folks, why aren't we doing it with this lady?
Yeah.
If this is your
Yeah.
if this is a tragedy, which it is, to be clear,
Yeah.
that this woman was shot and killed in the Capitol yesterday, that is a tragedy. Why isn't it in other cases? Why are you so willing to just write the other stuff off? And I mean, again, I keep dancing around this.
Well,
it's because
it
you're a
sounds
racist.
about white. Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds about white.
It's because you're a racist. I'm dancing. The reason I dance around it is so that if you are
I'll tell
listening,
you why
feel
they
that
can
way.
white that off, Jared.
One more,
I
one
cannot
more.
help it.
One more pun.
One more. I didn't get
One
it.
more
That's
pun.
okay.
Give us another white one.
One more?
You got it?
Something to white home about. I'll tell you that.
There you go.
There you go. You got
I
it.
am done.
Yeah, it's like if you do feel that way about it and you are curious about it, because I know that there are people that are in the middle on this sort of thing because, for whatever reason, and they are afraid of being called racist, and it's like, well, look at yourself. Take
Be
into
on the
account
white
what
side
you
of
feel.
history.
Take,
Boom.
take into account the things that you think. Have some introspection. Think about what it is you feel and whether or not the stuff you feel is racist, because in
Yeah.
some cases it is.
I just
And then
don't
you
get
can
why
work
you
on
don't
it.
just own it. Just
Yeah.
if that's how you really feel. I mean, so because all I'm saying, it seems that so many clearly have no problem publicly owning that
Yeah.
with no repercussion.
Yeah.
So
guy
I don't
was wearing a
understand
sweatshirt that said Auschwitz camp
Yeah.
or whatever. Like,
So
clearly
I don't understand all the
anti-Semitic right there in public.
the undercover racists at this point. It's like you just had a president for 4 years who confirmed those prejudices in you and made that okay. We're seeing government officials come out with racist rhetoric without
Yeah.
losing their seats, without losing their positions of power, without it. So I don't understand why you're so afraid
seeing
to come
Confederate
out and just be like, I'm
flags.
racist.
Yeah, it
In
would
our
be a lot
Capitol
easier
building.
for us if you wore your badge openly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give
Just so
yourself
we
a
can tell the
sticker.
difference.
Give me
Yeah.
just like a,
Not
like
that
a
it's
hello,
not
my name is
easy
racist.
Yeah, not that it's not easy enough to spot, but it's just frustrating that you won't even admit it. Like
Yeah.
you're obviously racist. Own
For
it.
me, the best place, and I think everyone should do this. If you're a racist, just put it on your business door for me. Visa,
Yes.
There you go.
MasterCard, racist owned.
racist people.
so that I can tell. You know, I mean, sometimes it's harder to tell than others. So if you can just drop that.
So I never
under
give
there.
you money because you don't deserve it.
That's not another dig at LL Bean, by the way. Just
sorry,
so
LL
we're
Bean.
clear. Sorry, LL Bean.
I apologize.
I can't believe our show had beef with LL Bean as a corporation.
Yeah, this is
So
totally
on accident.
accidental beef with LL Bean.
If you don't know what we're referring to, check out our Twitter.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, coup yesterday. I give the coup 0 out of 5 figs.
Yeah.
Not
essentially unrateable.
You know,
I mean,
I'll give it 1, and I'll tell you why. Because roadmap. Because I think this is the splintering. I think this will really hardline who is what and where the Patriot Party exists. I think this is the way forward for Democratic elected officials to win only. Maybe not exclusively, but maybe top down, maybe this is it. You know, maybe this is Democratic forever.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Obviously, it's significant in that way, to that degree, that it could have those kinds of repercussions.
We saw that happen, actually, in the district in Southern California where Duncan Hunter had been the, congressman. Terrible, Trump-supporting terrible guy who got a pardon for his efforts. So
got himself a sweet pardon.
He was doing, what he should have been doing. But what we saw was Amar Kampanajjar won the original election before the runoff because the rest of the candidates had split the vote.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, go back and look at the returns for Darrell Issa and for Carl Tamayo or whatever the other pieces of crap who ran there were. Amar got the majority of the vote before the runoff. He just didn't get enough to get the seat, which was like plus 50% or whatever.
Wow.
Part of it might be we have to look at, what that means going forward as far as the roadmap is concerned. Like, does the Patriot Party get kicked out every time and then we have to walk through this horrible runoff process like we did in Georgia? I don't know the answer to that. Yeah. But definitely want to continue some work of getting voters enfranchised in places across the nation where that has been traditionally not the case.
And in general.
Yay, Georgia. Yesterday should have been celebratory. We should have
completely overshadowing the monumental victory.
Yeah. We should have had a 10-second clip at the beginning of this episode about mega churches. They've been like, yeah, we did it in Georgia. But instead, alas.
We should have been like, hey, first black senator ever from the state of Georgia. Nice job, Georgia. And we should have said, because that's way more representative of your state. First Jewish senator also.
Yeah.
And shame on all of you Warnock/Purdue voters. Shame on you.
What is that garbage? Do better.
What?
Yeah.
Learn more about your candidates before you vote Warnock/Purdue.
Good Lord, no kidding.
But Ossoff did win his race, and Democrats will have control of the Senate. Kamala Harris will be the deciding vote.
33 years old, by the way. 33 years old, John Ossoff.
Yeah, kid.
Future's bright.
I'm old enough to be his dad.
Future's bright, man.
I spent some time in Georgia. Maybe I am. I don't know.
Maybe you are. Who knows?
Do the math on that.
Talk to Mr. Ossoff. Hey.
That's going to end up a QAnon conspiracy before the night's over.
Yeah, exactly.
Turns out this LWD guy is John Ossoff dad. # conspiracy?
Local San Diego liberal talk show host is John Ossoff's illegitimate father?
News at 11. We'll put up a picture on our Twitter, his face next to mine, see what you think.
Do some compare and contrast. Run it through a couple of internet tests.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep this conspiracy going on a shadow Twitter account I have. I'm just gonna keep pushing this.
We should have a graphic that says it's like one of those quizzes, like if you were a U.S. senator, which one would you be? And it's all my face and Ossoff. Yeah, that's already done. Yeah. I don't know why I'm talking about it. You can already see it on our Twitter feed.
It's on the screen somewhere.
Yeah. 0 figs for Insurrection, I guess.
I guess.
Agreed.
Shrug.
I would like to throw a quick apology to AOC.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
We have somehow run out of time again, and will not be able to have her on today's program. She actually lived through it. She was in the chamber when they had to evacuate.
My God.
She tweeted that she was okay, and that was great. And
Glad to hear it.
what a crazy
Yeah.
crazy time
Yeah.
to have lived through. So I'd hope to hear her firsthand description of that today.
You-
But we just kind of ran out of time. You just
Yeah.
never.
Yeah, it just happens, you know? That's
Carve
how it
out a
is.
portion of the
You'd
show at some point.
You'd think we could have squeezed her in, but
Yeah, we had too many white puns that we really
yeah,
had
too many white puns,
That's
yeah.
the
had to
thing.
get through.
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks everybody for showing up and listening to our show. We do, again, have a show on Saturday. I hesitate to tell you what it's going to be about.
Yeah. Mega churches?
No,
Maybe?
it's definitely not mega churches. Mega churches has got pushed. It'll be
Big
our
time.
masculinity episode, and we'll have
Oh, yeah.
special guest Steve back to join us
Steve.
to talk a little bit about
Yay.
you know
Steve back in here.
how
Woo.
to swing your thing around as a dude. Thank you once again, everybody, and have a good night. Liberal white dude.